unstuck? How do you get your client that is stuck in a pattern, that is stuck in a habit, and you can't get them out? What they're doing is they're just looping themselves around and around, and they're actually can't figure out because the conscious mind is staying in that habit and that pattern of the problem. And getting the client to look at how they're looping that situation, that issue, you want to get them into a state of thought where they're so confused about this situation that that conscious mind, that loop is being unraveled. And what I mean by being unraveled is that we tend to see the knot that is so big in your client's mind and in their belief that it actually restricts them on so many levels, like anxiety, for instance. Like a client of mine had anxiety that they weren't even able to leave the house because they were so concerned about what would happen, the unknown. So that is the knot. That's the knot that they're in. That's the loop that they keep thinking is going to keep them restricted in their life of being insular. So what we do in advanced conversation therapy and how we unravel that knot is really being vague in your questions, being really relaxed, not putting any pressure on your client, not putting any pressure on them, not telling them that we're starting and we're going to do an induction or a deepener. None of that. We actually want to start straight away with the issue. What is happening? What is stopping you from leaving the house? And then they'll go on and talk about, well, this, and that, and talk about all the symptoms, which really is their own conscious belief. And all of that can be fluff. So what you want to do is take that away from them, put the conscious mind out there, put them just sitting in the corner, and you want to directly talk to the unconscious mind because that's where really it all lies. That's where the root of the cause, that is where the root of the problem is. You want to directly talk to the unconscious mind. And if you're taking them down into a set of steps, down into this beautiful scenery, they're not going to find what that real issue is because they're in this state of trying to get themselves so relaxed and following your steps that they're really not going into where the root of the problem is. And you're taking them, yes, into scenes, which I have done. I've taken them back into a scene, but that's a scene, that's just a recall that you're really forcing them into because you're preparing them, you're telling them what to do. If you don't give them any of that and you just stay purely relaxed and you give them these questions that takes them into different directions, they're going to find it themselves naturally. You don't need to give them any kind of instructions or techniques. It is just the way you question them. It is just the way of how you relaxed, how you react, how you make them feel comfortable in knowing that these questions are going to be not so personal because they're so open, they're so vague. And what your client's going to do is interpret it the way they need to interpret it. They're going to find their actual issue themselves. They're going to then find their own resources, and then they are going to find how to implement that in their life. So if you don't have to do anything, your client does all the work. It's just knowing that you have to be in the right frame of mind in your questioning.